Tony, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Thank you. All right, we're going to call the meeting to order at 6:01. We will first do a roll call. Want to start down there?
Beth Campbell, Selectman present.
Mike Burr, present.
Rich Saleo, present. Okay, will you join me in the Pledge Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, one sec. We share. Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of April 21, 2026.
Selectman Burr has a question for Deb.
Yes, sir.
Under tax refunds, we have a motion to approve a refund to the Russo Family Revocable Trust of $214.86.
Okay.
And then if you go down two paragraphs, we have again $214.86. Did we have, okay, so it shouldn't be in there then. The second, okay, so if we scratch that second paragraph with the Russo Family Trust, then I make a motion to accept the minutes of April 21st, 2026 regular meeting as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Old business. So this meeting is really going to be a meeting of updates. So we have been working to clarify a few remaining questions in the final feasibility report. I met today with DRA quickly to see where they were, and they have committed to getting us the final report tomorrow evening. I said close of business. They said evening. So we'll see what that means. But hopefully we can move to the next step once we get that. Any questions? Okay. The next item on the agenda is the municipal solid waste RFP. So last week we had a non-mandatory meeting. We had a couple of bidders come and ask some questions. I've had a few more questions this week, which we clarified. The bids are due on Thursday at 10 a.m., at which point we will, Tracy and I will be opening them in the Selectmen's conference room and figuring out where we go from here. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. So the next item is Judson Street drainage. So I wanted to bring this to your attention because it's something that I have been, one sec, something I have been working on for a bit of time. The owners, I should say, of 70 Judson and 70, I believe it's 72 Judson, the property right next door, have approached me and sort of discussed that the fact that there is some slumping going on in their yards, in their properties. Now, there is a give me a second, let me tighten this up. So there is a pipe that runs across the property on 70 Judson that starts in this catch basin that's on the screen here in the sort of on the right-hand side. That pipe, I believe to be a 24 or 30-inch pipe that runs across the property of 70 Judson Street and exits in the back of the property where you see on this diagram, it says drainage swale. That property, that swale exits into the Reeves Field area. That pipe is collapsing and it's heavily corroded. The bottom of it is completely wiped out. So I have been digging through all historical records that I can find, looking at when was that pipe put in, who put the pipe in, was it related to the work we did in the web, all of those things. So I have found a couple of documents and I have resurfaced all of the deeds, etc. I will tell you a couple of things that I have learned at the moment. One, we did not touch that property when we did the web. That pipe was not touched. It was reconnected to the catch basin that you see because that catch basin was replaced. But we did not do anything to that pipe during the web work that we did starting around 2011, 2012. I also found a letter from Mike Rybeck to Ed Mohn, describing the area, talking about various properties that would be affected by the work that we needed to do in the web, and stating explicitly that the pipe that runs across 70 Judson does not belong to the town and is not the responsibility of the town. I have sent all of this material back to Mike Rybeck for subsequent re-review to make sure that that is still his opinion. The piping that's up in that web area that we did in 2012, 2013, I think, was basically intended to manage the water that's coming from Crystal Lake. There was some very old infrastructure up there that was designed to capture that runoff. Though that infrastructure was put in place before houses were built. Like there were pieces of that infrastructure that ran under people's garages and houses, etc. So it was there for a very long time. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to understand whose responsibility this pipe is before we go further and engage anybody for an engineering solution or anything like that. So that's where we are now. I have gone back through all the deeds. At no time is there is there anything in the deeds related to allowing the town on the property to put a pipe in. So there's no easements in any of the deeds. So that's why I gave it all back to Mike Rybeck and said, here's everything. So take another look. Any questions?
Just one. I looked at it, but is there any way you say that catch basin was reconnected to the pipe? There must be other catch basins down Judson. Is there any way to just cut off that pipe and take the flow from that catch basin somewhere else down the street to another catch basin?
Before we design a solution,
Okay,
we have to understand who's responsible.
Okay.
Because yes, there are lots of solutions to this problem, but any solution to the problem must include repairing or filling or doing something with that pipe. It's collapsing. It runs very close to several structures. If not under, not entirely sure.
okay, we'll wait.
So yes, Mike, there's lots of solutions we can come up with, but we have to do something has to be done with that pipe. But we have to answer the question first, whose responsibility is it? So I didn't go into any engineering solutions, and I want to answer the question first. Any other questions? Okay. That was Judson Street. Old Northfield Road. So we had some problems on Old Northfield Road. I don't know exactly when this took place. But we we did some things to a stream bed that we were not supposed to do. So we have to fix that. And not only do we have to fix it, this is just a piece of the solution, that the proposal that we sent back. We're currently have an engineering contract with Ty and Bond to repair what we did and put it back the way it's supposed to be. We disturbed a water course that we were not allowed to disturb.
On private property.
Some, yes. Yes. So not only do we, and this is just a quick peek at some of the proposed work that would go into sort of rehabbing the water course. We, as a penalty, we have to rehab a similar length of stream bed somewhere else in town. So we've been looking at different properties, some private, some owned by the town, to try and find the best solution. And what we've come up with, sorry, is sorry, maybe not the best, but this is the property that is basically south of the WPCA and the transfer station. The yellow line that you see on the left side of the screen actually runs down the bed of the center of a stream, where we actually own half of the bank and the other side of the bank is Watertown. You can see, if you follow that yellow line, you'll see blue sticking out in a couple of areas to the right of the yellow line. That's actually the stream. So we've proposed that we rehab this embankment by planting indigenous plantings to stabilize the stream bed so that it doesn't incur any erosion or any damage. Friday morning, I'm going to go walk this stream with Ty and Bond to see what it looks like. We had a meeting last week with DEEP, the DEP person who's sort of in contact with the Army Corps, and she's accepted this property in principle, but needs more information. So she asked a slew of questions that we're going to go work on Friday morning. Any questions? Okay. So the other two are pretty straightforward. I took the mechanic and the maintainer job descriptions and met with the team last Thursday at Public Works. They have, from a union perspective, they signed off on the small changes on the mechanic job that we proposed. They also waived the posting period because everyone was sitting around the table. I met with the whole team. No one was interested in either of these positions. So I had them sign off and waive the posting period. So these two jobs are now posted. We've received a couple of applications so far. It's only been up for like probably 3 days. So, well, 5 days, including the weekend. But so my plan is to let it go till next week and see what kind of responses we get before we spend any money advertising. And we'll see what happens from there. Any questions on that? The next item is the organizational realignment. So I just wanted to note that I did contact the gentleman who is responsible, who is basically our WPCA contact at DEEP. I described what we were hoping to do at a high level from an organizational realignment perspective, to get his thoughts. He asked me a series of questions about certain aspects of what we intend to do operationally. I answered him. which was part and parcel of the plan that we had drafted. And he was fine with all those answers. So he said, look, I've just asked you all the questions that someone could raise. And you gave perfectly satisfactory answers. I don't see any reason why you couldn't proceed. So my plan is to, not next week, the week after, is to go to the WPCA meeting and continue the discussion there. And to relay the information that I talked to the DEP person, and get their thoughts on whether this is a go or a no go. So at which point I will come back to this group. If they were to, uh, if they're, if they're willing to vote on it next week and they vote yes, then I will come back to this group, probably asking for a special meeting so that we could take a vote on the topic. I know, Beth, you had inquiry as to where the WPCA sat. I think after that meeting, I'll have additional clarity to sort of address your question in more detail. I haven't spoken with them since we last met. Okay, any questions?
How are they running right now? Do they have an interim supervisor?
Public Works?
Yes.
Yeah, it's me.
How's it going?
It's awesome. Yeah.
Did you get an answer to your email to Glenn before he left on turnover?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Was it satisfactory, the answer?
Yes.
Okay. I as you might expect, I did a deep dive on these reports. Thank you for giving me the ones that were not completed, but I see two MS fours on the town's website from
Mhm.
2024 and 25. One by Ed, one by you for Public Works.
20.
And I went on the state website and they had some examples on how to fill them out because I just wanted to educate myself on what an MS4 was. And they had a town of Avon like 4 or 5 years. And they're all prepared by an engineering firm, and they use someone out of Massachusetts, but our reports are prepared by Weston and some engineering group. But they all just look like, if you look at Avon's, they're all cut and paste
They are.
from one year to the next. So it's not like, I was thinking it was some big tedious report. But the only thing that I saw changed in their 4 years worth of reporting was the streets that had some new sewer line hooked up or new septic put in, and that might affect the drainage area, and the number of cubic yards taken out of the catch basins in the previous year. That's about the only thing that changed. Maybe how much salt and sand was used in a previous year, but we have a firm that does those reports for us, right?
No, we do them internally.
What's that?
We do them internally. They may have
The ones
been
that are
done by Wes.
are on the letterhead and the of the
Yeah.
engineering firm.
Right. So what happened was, a while ago, they were done by Wesson and Sampson. I think they were done in some initial format as the first ones, right? And then we've updated them since then. So
This reporting start.
the so you're talking about the MS4s, not
Yeah,
the
what is
SWIPs.
a requirement for this reporting? I mean, you
So
intimated that we were missing some reports, but
yeah, so Wesson and Sampson does. Sorry, you're talking about the MS4s. Wesson and Sampson does most of the MS4s.
Yeah.
All right, but they get input from us.
because
And we have to
document's
initiate.
got us two signature blocks, one from the person from Weston and Sampson and one from the first selectman.
Yep. So,
Prepared by them.
right, but all of the input comes from
Yeah, I
either
understand.
Public Works or
Yeah.
WPCA.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and the other thing, I talked to the previous two WPCA guys about these reports, and the
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 SWIP,
PPP,
SWIP.
the SWIP is right.
I now know new stuff.
So are we in arrears on those?
We have submitted those. Those were done internally. And they came back and they came back with some questions on the Public Works and Transfer Station. So we've got 30 days to address that.
So they're in work.
They're being worked.
Okay, and the last question I have is on the dam emergency plan.
Mhm.
Did I say that right? That sounds like I'm swearing about an emergency plan.
So, yep,
Yeah, we have never had one of those to your knowledge, or there is not one?
we did have one.
Okay.
It was, when I pulled it out, it had a picture of the old dam.
So
And it
there's
was
not one
written,
subsequent to the work that's been done?
no, it was never followed up on. We needed one after we built the new dam. We were required to submit one. We never submit anything. Somehow, and look, I don't profess to know how the government works, but the DEEP person who reached out to me and said, "Hey, your EAP is like 5 years old. You're way behind." And I said, "Oh, well, let me go see if I can pull that out." So I pull it out. I said, "Is it this one?" And he said, "Yeah, that's all we have on file." I said, "But we replaced that dam. You don't have any as-built for that?" And he's like, "Well, that's a different department." So I was like,
Yeah.
All right, so we will, good news, like the dam's been replaced. So it's really structurally sound now. Bad news, we have to go work on this. We'll get on this." So,
Okay. And there's absolutely no response. I understand we own the dam, but the property's in Litchfield, so Litchfield has zero responsibility for any of this emergency plan or anything. I would think they would have a vested interest in it, as if it breaks, it goes into Litchfield,
so,
right? Not that it's
um,
gonna break because it's new, but
yep. So we just pull, Debbie was kind enough to pull out the interlocal with Litchfield so they pay us, um, for access to Nystrom's and
it's
that.
not a lot of money though, is it?
No, but it's up. It's coming up. It's up or it's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to get off,
So,
but it's
so
kind
look,
of, kind of related to the
so that's
organization.
exactly one of the things I want to go back to them and say, "Hey, look, besides upkeep on our amazing park infrastructure that you get to use for free, we also have to pay 5 grand for this dam emergency action plan. We'd like you to kick in a little more."
Yeah, I've had a discussion with one of the selectmen in Litchfield and gave him a heads up that we'd be coming after more money. Because I think they've been really getting by pretty light.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
they came back after us and asked us to pay Moosehorn. So,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
um,
No further questions, Your Honor.
okay. That was it for old business. I don't have any new business. We don't have any commission appointments or resignations. Um, we don't have any tax refunds. I don't have any communications. Member comment?
No, no comment.
All right. We will go to public comments. So if anyone has any public comment, please feel free to take yourself off mute, and ask your question. Going once, going
No
twice.
comment.
Okay. Thanks for breaking the ice, Eileen. All right. If there's no comments, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.